Hello everyone, Tina here for Pinkfresh Studio. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm so glad you're joining us. Today we're going to create a card. We're using the Joyful Day stamp set. I love the leaves in here, and I love that you can color in each one of the sides of the leaves different colors for a fun look. We're going to make a birthday card using this. We're also going to be using the coordinating die set along with the coordinating stencil. This is what it looks like. You can see you can create all the different shades with those leaves. I just love that. Okay, let's start by doing some stamping. I thought we'd do some heat embossing with our beautiful leaf image. We're going to be doing some heat embossing with white embossing powder on some pale blue cardstock. So I have my stamping positioner. We're going to go ahead and take our image, place this on our cardstock. I'll pick this up and then I'll treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool. I'm going to go over my image with my Pinkfresh Studio Calico White ink. If you have a watermark ink, you can use that, but I like using the white ink because it actually shows up and you can tell what needs to be re-inked and what doesn't. We'll stamp it 2 times for good measure. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this panel. We're going to go ahead and add some white embossing powder right over the top. I'm going to go ahead and take my heat gun and we'll melt it. Now we're going to do some stenciling on this panel. So I'm going to bring in my grit mat and some inks. We're using the Coordinating Joyful Day stencil set. There's 4 pieces to this stencil set. Today we are only using stencil 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to put stencil 4 aside. I do want some of the natural colored cardstock to show through on my background. So 1, 2, and 3 are what we're going to be using. We are starting with stencil number 1. I'll tack this down, and I'm using my Storm ink. Let's go ahead and take one of my 1/2-inch blending brushes. And I'm going to ink. I'm going to go in light areas, and then I'm going to add some darker areas at the very bottom, and some of them are on the sides. I just love the contrast that this gives, and I love that the stencils do this so nicely. Just add a little bit of that darker color to one side. Okay, I'm going to use a towel and I'm going to wipe off my stencil. I always like to wipe it off while it's on the cardstock. For me, it's just a little bit easier. And then we're going to reveal this, and I'm going to add my next layer. We're going to tack down stencil number 2, and this time I'm using Sapphire ink. We're going to pick up, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add a light layer of ink all over the leaves. And then I'm going to go back and add some highlights, intensifying the colors. I'm going to wipe my stencil off and we're going to take a look. Beautiful. Once we have stencil number 3 on our cardstock panel, I'm going to be using Calico White ink this time. Instead of using one of my 1/2-inch blending brushes, I'm actually going to use a sponge dauber for this. This is going to be really subtle. Okay, I think that's all that we need. I'm not going to wipe off my stencil with this one because it is a pigment ink and I want to stand out a little bit. I love the hit and miss with the softness. So you have some bold and some softness. That's what my card's going to be today, kind of bold and soft at the same time. Okay, we're going to put this to the side. Now we're going to stamp our greeting. In our stamp set, we're going to stamp the greeting that says, "Sending birthday wishes." Put this on an acrylic block. I'm going to use my detail black ink to stamp my greeting. I'm going to take the coordinating die and we'll die cut out our leaves, and I'm also going to die cut out our sending birthday wishes. And then while we're die cutting, I'm going to be using the standalone Curvy Foliage die set. I'm going to use white cardstock, and I'll die cut out 2 of these. I'm going to run these through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. Everything's die cut out. And I just love the lacy look of these. I think this is going to be pretty in my background. Okay, I went ahead and die cut out a piece of pop-up foam for my greeting. We're going to go ahead and add some glue behind here. And we will tack this down to our foam. And then our greeting will be ready to go. So we have a little dimension to our greeting. We'll put this to the side. For my leaves, what we're going to do is take a marker. I'm using a warm gray marker, and in the areas that I don't have any ink, I'm going to just add a little bit of a highlight. Just so it stands out a little bit. There's some leaves that don't have anything, and I like the shadow that it kind of creates. Next, we're going to take our Curvy foliage, and I'm going to adhere it to the same color of panel that we used for our leaves. I'm going to add it to the bottom left here, and then I'm going to add it to the top right. I have some micro dot sheets that will make this easy. Micro dots are just small little dots that you can add behind your die cuts. And it basically creates a sticker with them. You just put them on the sheets and then you just rub it really good. So we just tack this down. I'm going to use my scissors. Anything that's overhanging we can trim off. And I just love the lacy look of this. Okay, we're going to put this on the front of our card base. We'll just tack this down. Now we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. I have the Pinkfresh Studio Ivory Essentials Glitter Cardstock. Okay, we're going to take a panel and then we're going to die cut out a circle, and also we're going to die cut out the leaves once more with this. With this piece, I'm going to bring in the inverted stitched scallops, and I'll die cut out a background circle with this. I'm also going to take this, and then I'm going to take these two, we'll layer these together, and I'll die cut out this also. Now I'm also going to create a frame. I'm using the Essentials Blanket Stitched Rectangles. We're going to use these, the two smaller. I'm going to bring in some dark blue cardstock, and I'm going to die cut out a frame with this. So now we have some shimmer, but I'm going to tint this a little bit. I want a little bit more yellow to my background. So I'm bringing in my Pinkfresh Studio Marigold ink. I'm going to add a little bit of color right over my glitter cardstock. So now we have some yellow glitter cardstock. And then I'm also going to take the circle that we cut out with the glitter cardstock, and I'm going to add some ink to the bottom. Now we're going to glue these together, kind of offsetting them a little bit, so you can see that yellow from behind. I'm just going to use my tape runner for this. Okay, let's offset these just a little bit so that yellow's peeking out. Wonderful. And I'm going to do the same thing to the rest of these. I'm going to go ahead and take my frame and tack this down to a piece of white cardstock that is slightly smaller. And then I also die cut out a piece of white cardstock to fit on the inside using those same dies. So let's go ahead and adhere this right here in the inside. I'm going to go ahead and take my leaves now, and we're going to adhere them to our frame. And I love how they just kind of overlap. I'll do the same with this. Put this in this bottom corner. Now I'm going to take my greeting, we're going to put some glue behind it, and we're going to tack this down to our circle, making sure the gradient's right here on the bottom. And then I'm going to pop this up with some foam tape, and we're going to pop this right here in that open area down here. I went ahead and popped up this with some foam tape, and we're going to place this directly on the front of our card base. For finishing touches, we're going to bring in some Pinkfresh Studio Jewels. These are Peach Fuzz. I think they go really good with that yellow on that glitter cardstock. I'm just going to use my glue and adhere a few here and there. And that will finish off my card today. Hope you enjoyed my project for Pinkfresh Studio. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.